This is a kind of dessert that should come with a warning. I mean, cookie dough, Oreos, and brownies, and all of that in one bite. It's completely genius. These are Slutty brownies. They're rich, dramatic, and completely over the top in the best way possible. These brownies went viral a couple of years ago, and I think it's time for a comeback. But obviously with a little more love and a lot more chocolate. Let me show you how I make mine, and let's get baking. Also, before we begin, just a quick little disclaimer. The name is a little cheeky, but that's what they've always been called, and the dessert is just as extra as the name suggests. So let's just own it and roll with it. All the ingredients for you to recreate this recipe will be in the description. First, you want to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius and line your tin with parchment paper. Trust me, this will make lifting the Slutty brownies out of the tin so much easier later on. We're starting with a cookie dough base. Now you could go with a store-bought cookie dough, but it just won't taste the same. This layer is worth doing right. I'm using softened unsalted butter here, as well as light brown sugar for that rich and chewy texture. Once you've creamed your butter and your sugar, you can go ahead and add your eggs and your egg yolks. I have some really good recipe that you can make to use up all of those leftover egg whites. Let me know if you would like a video on those. Once that's all mixed, it's time for your dry ingredients. Next, you can stir in your chocolate chips. Here I'm using a dark chocolate, but you could really use whatever your heart desires. Milk chocolate, dark chocolate, peanut butter chips, whatever you feel like. And honestly, chopped chocolate would be amazing in this layer as well. Then press your cookie dough into an even layer. Here, it really doesn't have to be perfect. You can just smush it around until it's pretty much even. It's a very, very technical baking term, smush. Bake the cookie dough for 15 minutes. The first bake sets the base so that it doesn't get soggy once we add the Oreos and the brownie layer. To be honest, this cookie alone would make a great dessert, but hey, I've already shared with you my favorite cookie cake recipe, so let's just keep on making this even better and more delicious. Now this part is super straightforward. It's the easiest. You just need your Oreos. Here I used about 15 to 16 Oreos. You can just line them up on your baked cookie. If you want to fill up the edges where a full cookie doesn't fit, then you can just cut them in half and place a half at the end to fill up any gaps. I always love this layer because it's such a great idea. I mean, cookies and Oreos, that's like cookies squared. Now onto the brownie layer. Here, just like for the cookie, you could use a box mix, but I just like to make mine at home because it's so easy and it'll taste so much better. It's also worth the effort to just make it yourself at home. So like with any good brownie, we're melting the butter with the chocolate. Then in another bowl, you can whisk your eggs with your sugars until you get a really thick and creamy texture. Combine the melted chocolate with the eggs, and now it's time for all your dry ingredients. So your flour, cocoa powder, a little bit of baking powder, and some salt. Here you can whisk until everything is nice and glossy, but don't overmix because then you'll get really cakey brownies. And now you just want to pour that brownie batter over your Oreos. At first, you might think that this is way too much batter, but trust me, it isn't. Just, again, smush it around and make sure that it's even. You can place the baking tin in the oven and bake for 20 to 25 minutes. The top should be set and slightly crackly, but the inside should still have some slight wobble. You want these to be underbaked and not dry. If you're not sure when they're done, just always underbake them slightly. They will continue setting as they cool. Gooey brownies are always better than dry ones, and honestly, my motto in life is underbaked is always better than overbaked. Now, this is one of those desserts that always gets a reaction. It's gooey, dramatic, definitely not subtle, in the best way possible. My little sister is obsessed with these, but I did have to rename them at home because having my little sister ask me, could you please make me some Slutty brownies, just did not sit right with me. Now that your brownies are fully cooked, you need to let them cool until they're cool to the touch. I know it's hard, but if you cut them too soon, you will have a brownie layer that is way too molten and you won't get those nice layers. Use a warm knife to get clean layers. I just love the cross section of these brownies. I mean, the cookie dough layer, the Oreos, and the brownie, delicious. Now it's time for the taste test. Let's act like I haven't tried these 100 times, and bon appetit. I'm so excited. I get excited about these every single time, no matter how many times I've made them. To be honest with you, I've had to work on this recipe a while because every single time I made them, it was just too sugary. So I've really dialed down the sugar to the minimum possible. And I think it's worth it because they're just delicious. The brownie layer is gooey and so chocolatey, and you get the hit of the Oreos. It's delicious. And the cookie layer is not overbaked, it's not dry, and it's still delicious. I might even go in for a second bite. These brownies are sweet, gooey, a little bit outrageous, and just slightly messy. If you've never made Slutty brownies before, trust me, these are a must make. They are so much easier than they seem, and they're a real crowd pleaser. This is a kind of dessert that people remember. And if you're not a fan of Oreos, you could always switch it up. I've made these with Biscoff, I've made them with Nutella. You could even use some peanut butter cookies. If you do end up making this recipe, please tag me. I would love to see your recreations. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more because I post for you every single week. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed making these Slutty brownies with me. I will see you next week.